30 of my Around the Kent Coast cycling challenge. It's great to have you back. I just want to pan around to show you where we are. We've just left Dover Harbour, which is just over there. You may see the ships in the distance. Pan around, I have actually found Dover Beach. It's very exciting. I never knew Dover had a beach. And as you pan around further, you'll see all the highlights of Dover. Now, one of the issues I've always thought about Dover is I've often driven through it and never stopped, and it has got a reputation of being quite a dismal town, but hopefully today I will prove that wrong by showing you all the highlights of Dover. The first thing we're going to do is actually go up to Dover Castle, which is on top of that cliff. You may see the tunnels that come out all around the cliff top that come from underneath the tunnel. That'd be very exciting to see. Right, let's go and explore this town. So there had been a slight change of plan to episode 30. Due to the amount of really interesting stuff we found in Dover, I'm really going to struggle to fit it all in a kind of 10-minute episode. So I'm going to save Dover Castle to episode 31. So that would be very exciting. And then episode 32, we can then move on to Sapphire Hoe. Right, let's go and look around the town. So to explore Dover today, we actually parked up on Western Heights, and the idea was to do a kind of loop up to Dover Castle, through the town and kind of up the cliffs the other side. Be quite a nice trip. But on Western Heights, where we've parked, and I did start the cycle, but I actually found this quite interesting fort here. I'm just going to pan around so you can see it. It kind of made me think of an old set of a kind of Doctor Who series. It's quite interesting. As you can see, we're actually going to walk around it. You kind of walk into the fort, go into a tunnel, and you do seem to be in this kind of dry moat. It's quite exciting to see. I will try and find some more information about the fort, and maybe do a little thing in the editing so you can find out a bit more about it. But yeah, I'm not really sure what it was used for. I'm guessing it's probably not that old, but maybe the last century, who knows. Very exciting. There is actually a sign on this door over here. I will go and see what it says. May give us a little bit of a clue to what this fort was used for. As you can see, we can walk right around this moat here. There you go, it tells us a little bit more about an open weekend coming up. Anyway, very interesting fort we found. Better go and find their bike again. Excuse the sweat, I've just cycled up a hill, but I've just found the old church of the Knights Templar, as you can see by the sign. Reminds me of a Dan Brown novel. Right, let's carry on into Dover. So another interesting feature of Western Heights is the Grand Shaft Barracks, which we've just found actually. I'm just going to show you the poster here. Very interesting. Unfortunately it is locked at the moment. I'm just going to try and poke the camera through the fence so you can try and see at least part the top of the shaft. If you bear with me as I go through the fence here. Try and get a look down there. So I'm pretty sure during editing I can try and find a better shot of the shaft. Now, something I've learned about Dover today is it's actually a start point for two great journeys. That's if you're walking the North Downs Way and if you're swimming the Channel. And actually the start point for both are in the same place. So let's go and have a look at that now. So we've just cycled through the town of Dover, and I must admit I was quite impressed by the kind of seasidey bit of the town. I've only ever driven through Dover and not really stopped, so the bits you see when you're driving through are pretty dismal and, if I'm honest, don't look very nice. Now if you actually spend some time here and actually walk along the seafront, it is actually quite nice. Now one of the things I would say is I am here probably a few years too early, because they are doing some extensive redevelopment kind of on the harbour side and on the seaside. So I would say in about 2 years time it would actually be a really nice place to visit, and it's got a lot of potential as a seaside town. So I think it's probably worth visiting now, but definitely worth visiting in a couple of years. So after cycling through the town, I've actually reached this kind of beach area. It's kind of a shingle beach. It's actually quite interesting. It's called Shakespeare's Beach. I'm just going to pan around so you can see it. It's very nice here. I won't speak as I kind of pan around. You'll see the kind of sea. It's quite a nice day. Not many waves today. You will see our onward journey in the distance. So this beach was actually in the news this week. There's a swimmer called Pugh who actually completed a 330-mile swim. So he started from Land's End, kind of the other end of the country, and he swam to Dover, and he kind of just the other day, I think it was the 29th, which was a few days ago. It's the 29th of August. He actually arrived just against that sea wall just over there. So the reason he actually done the swim, excuse me as I read the text off my phone, but it was called the Long Swim, and his campaign was to raise awareness of the threat of the UK's coastal waters from climate change, overfishing and plastic pollution. Kind of worked. There was a lot of news last week about it. You may have seen it. Let's go and look at a few news articles now.
Pugh, congratulations.
Hello Anna, how are you?
See you in a moment. You're going up, I know, to cross the finish line. Can we be the first to say you've done brilliantly?
Thank you.
How are you feeling right now?
Exhausted and exhilarated in equal measure.
It's not even easy to get up the beach, is it?
No, it isn't. Anyway,
I'll let you do this. I'll talk to you in a moment.
Thank you. Well done, Lewis. Congratulations.
Woo! Yay! Woo!
So I'm a bit puffed out. I've just pushed my bike along Shakespeare's Beach, which is just kind of over in that direction. As you can see, it's quite long, and it did take a lot of effort to get the kind of bike across. We are about to just cross the footbridge going up to the road again, see if we can get a bit further along. But the footbridge goes across this railway line down here, which runs between Dover and Folkestone. It's quite a nice trip by train, I would imagine. I've never actually done it, but it does kind of run along the bottom of the cliff, right along to Folkestone, through lots of tunnels, lots of sea views. I've always kind of thought it would be a good idea to walk between Dover and Folkestone and catch the train back. I may do that one day. I'm sure that'd be very exciting. Right, let's try and end the episode on a high by climbing up this kind of cliff here. Thanks for joining me in episode 30 of my Around the Kent Coast Cycling Challenge. As promised, we have finished on a high. I'm just going to give you a view round. It's very impressive. We can really see out towards Dover now, the white cliffs in the distance, the English Channel, and you can just about see a few boats heading towards France. The life boat is actually doing some manoeuvres just below us. Hopefully he doesn't think we're going to jump. We're not that close to the edge, but as you can see, the path ahead goes up to the cliff. See you next week in part 31.